Welcome back. So here I'm going to show you the process through which you can start creating the animals inside Illustrator. In the previous class, we discussed about some conceptual things that we are going to repeat here, the tools, their shortcuts, their uses, and then further we are exploring the features through which you can also start learning the process through which creating very high quality, good outcome designs of the vector. Okay, so select the page size, click on create. And then further, I'm showing you one example here. The wireframe, the outline we can create first and the same that we can fill with detailings of the color and the other property. And this time I'm using the pen tool directly to create the outline of the character. So we can select the pen tool from here. We have the white is the filled color and the stroke color is the black one. Weight of the stroke that also we can consider 4 suppose. The stroke property centered. These are the settings that you need to do. So suppose I'm creating the hippopotamus. So we have the head that we can create first, and then after the body, all the detailings that we can create one by one. So now we can zoom in first and then further start creating from the one point itself. I'm just going to click to the point number 1 and just we can drag by holding the button of the mouse. We can now just use this. Okay, something like this. And then further use the escape button that we can find into the top left corner of the keyboard. Escape is used to go back with the pen tool. We discussed about this already. Now I'm going to continue with this section. Suppose maybe we can just do something like this. Okay, something like this over here. And then from this point to this point, and we can again use this direct selection tool. With direct selection, we can just simply drag and select and then further arrange the position. Also, we can just rotate this. I'm changing the positions here. We can now manage this curvature amount with the flow. And here also I'm going to set it and maintain the amount of the curvature. And in this side also I'm selecting and changing the position with this way. Right. And again use the pen tool to continue with the same flow of the design. Here we can create the body structure. And we have the hand is also created over here. Okay, so I'm going to create that part of the body first. And in the bottom side here we have the leg, the other properties are there. So suppose I'm just creating the horn here. Suppose click and drag. And then further we can create this part, drag it. You can now match the start end point with small curvature like this. Okay, and the other things also that we can create here, I'm creating the ear. So just click at one point. We can now just drag and then further. You all need to practice regarding the pen tool a lot because pen tool initially maybe you have difficult to use, but it's very easy tool actually. Only you need to set your hand. Through practice you can do very easily, right? I'm going to make copy by holding the alt and drag. We can then further choose the option flip from here. And also we can change the size, make it small, rotate. Make sure one setting options we have, that is the scale corners and effects, that you can disable while creating the character. Otherwise what happen, whenever we are changing the size, every time we have the point that gonna change. The weight of the stroke is 4 right now. Here we can see clearly. But since I have changed the size, here also we have the value that gonna changed. After selection, we can go to the object and arrange center back. Also, we can just use the ellipse tool to create the eye. Color that we can switch, disable the fill color, switch the color from the stroke to the fill color section. I'm changing the size since this is very big right now. And also we can just use the line once again, and then for the here I'm just doing this. The curve, very small curve actually we can create. And also switch the color. The weight of the stroke that I can set to 4 once again because we have the same weight of the stroke. If the corner is there, see here we have the corner. What we do now after selection, you can go to the stroke property and choose the cap with this option. And the direct selection basically helps us to manage. So you can click to select and then further change the position. The amount also that we can manage the curvature amount. So we can just manage the curves properly. Here also we can adjust it. Right. So this is something that we can do here. Selection of this, and from the corner also we can rotate if it is required. Yeah, this is something that we need to do. So the head is almost ready. This one is very small in size. Now we can make it bigger from the corner. After selection, yeah, this is very small in size, right? Okay. And I'm also going to make multiple set of copy by holding the Alt and set it here. The opacity that we can set to suppose 20% only. The shades of the gray. For the detailings, we can try something like this. And also not exactly the circle, but we can rotate this. Make copy here and here. These three that we can select, and from the 20%, I make it 10 only. Okay, so yeah, something like this. Selection overall, and we can change the positions to here. Still we have, it's look like the eye is very small. I'm changing, making it a little bit more bigger actually for the dynamic approach. Yeah, something like this. The size of this one that we can change maybe a little bit more, and also rotate from the corner. Okay, so the head is ready, as you guys can see. Now we can move ahead with the other part of the body. So we can move ahead with the other part of the body. Pen tool. I'm clicking over here to create this side of the body. So just hold the button of the mouse. We can drag and create the kind of the curve. And here, suppose exactly here, we can add the leg. Something like this. And here also. Now we can also click at this point and hold the button of the mouse to drag to just add the detailings of the curvature. And also we can continue with the other thing. For now, I'm just dragging here to create the hand. So to refinement, we can use the dot selection tool. A is the shortcut that also you can use in this case. It's very important to create the first, right? And then further we can add the detailings, because initially if you want to create everything perfect, that is not practically possible. You can just create the one that you have knowledge. Okay. And as per your practice, you can also try and do the changes. And further, you feel all things that going good, that like we are creating something and that is going good, that's fine. Otherwise you can try and repeat the process to make it more perfect. It's all about your practice and understanding regarding the flow of the content. So the more you learn, the more you practice, the more you learn, the more command you have regarding the designing. Simple. Okay, so here I'm creating the hand from this side. So just I'm going not exactly click actually, but click at, then further we can hold the button of the mouse to go with the flow, and we can do something like this. Here I'm creating the kind of the curve, and also just try to create something like this. Maybe skip button that we can use now, the selection tool, and I'm using the shortcut for the selection. We have the shortcut V, right? V is the shortcut for the selection tool. A is the shortcut for the direct selection. P is the shortcut for the pen tool. And sometimes we can use the escape button that is in the top left corner of your keyboard. Escape, the last one, right? That is the tool that we can use to just back from the pen tool. Okay. We are not supposed to use the pen tool all the time. We want to free from that. You can try to use that tool in that case. So I'm selecting this flow. Maybe we can simply click. Okay. And the pointer. So if you have something in the top side, make sure you guys can manage it properly. And the amount of the curvature also that we can manage with this way. Right, so we have the proper flow, as you can see. So it's a very muscular type of the body, as we can see here clearly. You guys can just simply follow the same, right? You can try to explore anything else also. You are free to do that one. Okay, so this is something that we can set in the background. So object, we have the arrangement options and send to back. So with this way, we have the bodies in the back side. Now, time to create this side of the hand. That also we do with the help of the pen tool. So from this point, exactly from the corner edge, we just need to create one curve, and the height of the hand is also exactly the same. So I'm just creating this random line, and then further we can go to the object and choose the options, arrange and send to back. So this is how you can do this Now use the dot selection. You can then further just try to match the surface, right? So we can also just try to match this pointer. Click to select this, and then for the position that we can change with this way. I hope now you have clarity regarding this concepts. This is too much, so we can maybe do the change into this, or maybe we can also just change the positions of this one. So it's completely depend on the design requirement you have. You can consider that as final if it is required. So we can also set in the centered one. So I'm just using once again the pen tool. We can now click over here, and then for the we can just drag to create. Okay, so the section, just hold the button of the mouse, we can create the another curve from here to here. I guess, yeah, this is sufficient. And yeah, this is something, these two we can select these two, and then for the object and arrange send to back. Okay, and again use the dot selection tool. We can click at this point. We can then for the just go here and just hold the button of the mouse for the curvature. Actually, we can maintain the amount of the curve, the position also that we can arrange, and from here also we can adjust the position and the amount of the curvature, right? This is also something that we can manage with this way. I hope now you have clarity regarding the concepts. So this body part is also ready. Add the detailings into these hand section from here to here. So what we do now, what do you prefer? Since we have the corner, we can simply click, and then for the find the options of the node, just you can click to target the node, drag inside. Okay, so this is something that we do here. Time to add the detailings as I have explained. So we can use the ellipse tool, and then further I'm going to create this shape. We can fill or switch the color, right, like this. And then for the zoom in, use the curvature tool from here. We can now just target this shape only. It's not add any additional point. Instead of that, we can simply just do something like this. Hold the button of the mouse to create something like this, the nails type of thing. Okay, selection tool that we prefer, and you also rotate from here. Make sure the same that you can rotate like this one. And also we can set the percentage to 10% only. That's not visible too much. Maybe we can make it 15% if that is too light. Then 15% is good enough, I guess. Now you guys can click to this, hold alt from the keyboard or the option key if you are using the Mac, of course. You can now from the corner just rotate. See, if you are using the Windows PC, we have the alt key, we have the command control key. And if you are using the Mac, you have the command, not the control, right? And instead of alt, you have the option key. So you guys can use accordingly. Otherwise, the rest things are exactly the same. Nothing like any difference between these two. We can just rotate from here maybe a little bit, and we can just maintain this flow also. 2 nails is sufficient. Yeah, something like this that I am going to put. We can then further hold shift select multiples, and we can also zoom out. I'm going to copy this one to set it here. And in this section, actually, we just need to change the size. The one is bigger than the another one is smaller. So 3 nails that we need to input, changing the size overall first. We can then further click to select the another one, the size I'm going to change. Maybe we can just match this point. One more that we can just copy and change the size of this one. Something like this. So rotate accordingly if it is required. So yeah, this is good enough. Something like this. Okay. We just need to select all 3. And yeah, but make sure there is no like overlapping into this one. Hold shift, you guys can select all, and then for the drag by holding the alt and paste it here. See how easy this is, right? And character designing is very interesting task actually once you have the clarity regarding the concepts. Then something like this. Okay, so the model, the character is ready, and I hope you have clarity regarding this particular concept. If you want to do any changes into this character, you guys can definitely try that also. I'm going to put it here. We can drag it. Perfect. So time to add the color and the other detailing. So I'm going to select overall. So before copy, it's important to create a group of these kind of thing that we can separate, and later on we are just going to attached. So hold shift, you can select multiple group. Control G is the shortcut also we can use here. I'm going to change the positions of this one side. These two also that we can select, Control G, side. These three also that we can select multiple. Okay, so shift the position, Control G, set it side. So the character is overall ready. By the way, this one also that we can shift. Okay, so drag it side maybe here. We can now drag to select the character overall, hold Alt and we can drag. So with this way we can make one copy. And once we have the copy of the main character, then further we can add the detailings, the color and the other property. So swatches panel in this case is important to open. We can use the color which is given here. Okay, so the fill color is black is not needed, that we can set to none. After selection of the one part, we can fill the color, but the problem is if you just directly fill any one of the color, we have the kind of the line is added just because this part is separate. Every single part is separate. So we are trying to fix the issues of this. Once you have the model, the character is ready. In that case, you can just go with the shape builder, which is used to separate, merge, and delete the unwanted content. These all things are possible with the shape builder. We already discussed about this tool fundamental concepts in detail in our previous session. So make sure if you guys have any doubt regarding this tool, you definitely need to check that particular video. So we just need to select overall, disable the fill color, only we can continue with the outline color right now, and use the shape builder tool, one click to select. If you want to merge, okay, the kind of the separation, see here we have the line is overlapping. You no need to hold any button in the keyboard, just you can click at one point, hold the button of the mouse, drag to merge. And we also want to merge these two. So click at this point, when it is selected, hold the button of the mouse and drag to cover this area. This one single click to make the part separate. Okay, so if you see here clearly, one single click here also. So this part is separate. One click, one click. Here also one single click. If you have any line that is unwanted like this, what we do? Just go to the pen tool sections and delete anchor point tool. Because with delete anchor point, we can very easily delete anything that is not needed. So just click to delete these lines. So you just need to click and the things are going to fix. Okay, so if you have the kind of the thing happen actually, what do you do? Just we can use the direct selection tool, or maybe we can delete the one and then after continue. That's completely fine. You can just merge the pointers here. And this is also something that we can merge in the same way. This line is also extra, not needed. Once again, go with the delete anchor point tool. From here, you can then further click to delete. And this line is going to continue, but this one is extra. Here also we can delete this unwanted thing. These two lines also. Make sure exactly you can click to the point, otherwise you get the kind of error. Right. Leave these two actually for better clarity. Okay, these are the lines that we can fix. So you guys can definitely check it out. What are the things that I have deleted and the same that you can repeat. Okay, so delete those things. We can then further start filling the color. So once you clean everything, then after selection, choose the shades of the color. I'm selecting this particular shades of the color, which is the default color of the Rhino. Okay, this one also that we can select. Maybe, okay, something else also. So if you see here clearly, we have one issues are there. The line that is deleted. So what you do now in this case, just use the line segment tool. We can then further drag and draw and continue the line. And then further, the curvature tool also we can use to just click to the pointer and then further just match the point. So in case if you have the kind of thing happen, you can just do the same as I have explained. Right, so selection, fill this particular color. Overall, here also we can fill the same shades of the color. Okay, and here also we can fill the same shades of the color. Just one single click to fill. Okay, not double click actually. Maybe we can try the gray shades of the color for this shape. One single click to fill into that one. So all the detailings that is needed for your design that you need to input. Color is something that is very important for your design perspective. So make sure you guys can choose the color very precisely. If you want to choose any other color, you can double click to the fill color sections, and then further we can decide what color we want. That may be the shades of the gray like this. So if you do this change, the same that you can repeat with others part also. I'm selecting suppose this part here and here. We can choose the same eyedropper, click exactly here. One single click. Okay, so yeah, this is something that we can do here. Click to select this part also. We can then further choose the shades of the sky and then again double click the shades of the gray that we prefer in this case. Or maybe we can just change the shades of the color, what color that you want to recommend in that area. That you can simply select from here, like maybe this one, click on OK to confirm. The other detailings also that we need to input. And if something is in the back side, make sure you guys can just use the arrange option. Right, arrange front side. So we can then further add here. Exactly. And here also we have the nails and other thing that we can add, minimize the swatches panel. So these we can select and set it here, side. Scale and change the position. I'm changing the size first, then we can arrange it. The size also we can change and again change the position exactly here. Okay. These two also we can select and change their position like this. So these are the changes that you guys can definitely prefer. And the last one, this that we can add here. You can also just change the position. Now we can rotate it and set it here. Okay, so we can simply fill the color as I have explained, the step-by-step process. And then further, if you want to just continue with any other color shades that you can prefer. So technically here we have the line. If you see here, this one is separate. We can also disable the line. We can simply just go to the color sections and choose the option none. But if you choose the option none, still we have the shape outline is visible just because in the background we have the kind of a structure. Okay, so if you make it separate, you can now drag to select this and then further we can use this shape builder and then further drag to fill the area. If you do this, what happen actually, this part is also deleted. So make sure whenever you are doing any changes into the existing graphic, the same that is affected with the others too. The second option is we do undo and then for the here we are repeating the same shades of the color. So I'm changing the size of this little bit more. And then for the still if these are the not these are the part that is not visible, we can simply just use the direct selection tool. With this way we can manage it, right? Something like this. And if your point is moving here and there, go to the view. We have the snapping option is active. You can uncheck that. If you do this, what happened now, we have the flow of the line is completely separate. There is no such issue. So these are the things that you guys can definitely try. If you want to make that one separate, then only okay, it's not compulsory. Direct selection tool that we can use to just change the size, make it more bigger. And here also we can repeat the same process. I'm going to use a direct selection. We can also cover this area, make it bigger. Right, something like this. And again click to select. You can double click what color you want to add into that for the better contrast and clarity. You can simply just choose the shades of the color accordingly. Double click and maybe we can try the shades, this one. We can make it lighter. To add more detailings into this particular character, we just need to follow one more step as we already explained about this in the previous session. So make sure you guys can follow the same process. I'm going to just change the positions over here. We can make one more copy of the same. And if the more width is required, okay, so we can simply go to the artboard tool and change the size of the artboard. So make sure Just click to the pointer and then further we can change the size. So we have more sufficient space to work in this interface. Selection of this one, we can go to the object and choose the object group from here. So we have the proper group. To add the detailings, we can work with the shadows, everything, like we can add the depth, right? So what you do now, just you can click to select the main object, this one, and then further we can just go inside this, zoom in. With Control plus you can zoom in. And since this is already selected, we inside this, we have options to choose the pen tool. And I'm just adding the depth with the pen tool actually. So just hold the button of the mouse, the kind of the curve that we can create. Something like this, here we can match it. But make sure not outside, just inside only, that you can try to match. And we can double click and choose the dark shades color, maybe this one. And the stroke is not needed. We can set that one to none from here. You can also prefer this tool. Zoom in. The direct selection we can use to manage the amount of the curvature. Right, like this. Change the position and then further we can drag to make this amount also more curve. So the kind of the structure is added here. In case if you want to add the same detailings to the body of the rhino, just use the tool accordingly. I'm going to continue with this particular section. So make sure that is not going to work with the insides. To work here, only the inside part is visible. We can also make it more lighter. And to make it more lighter, you can double click. Just choose the color that you prefer. So this is the shades of the color that I'm going to input over here. And the same line is going to follow in this sections also. So just we can drag by holding the button of the mouse and just try to create the kind of thing. And this area only, and then further we can match the start end point. The stroke color is not needed, that we can set to none. Use the direct selection tool, and then further also here we can just maintain the flow, the amount, click outside, and once again the same that we can also just add here like this. If you guys have anything else that is required, you can definitely try and check it out, the options. It's not like the same thing that you can repeat which I'm explaining here. This is just one example to show you the possibilities, right? So the line, you can see the kind of the effect is added, and the same we do with this side also. So here we have the kind of thing required. So on these sides also we can just do something like this. Stroke is not needed. We can set that one to none. And yeah, we can double click once again to choose the lighter shades of the color. See? Zoom in and then again use the direct selection so that you can fix the issue if that is going to overlap into the any other part. Okay, something like this. And in case if you want to define the darker areas also, what you do, just repeat the same process. We can just try to manipulate the area with the darker shades color. Only the light color is needed here, not the dark shade color. Okay, here also we can just add lighting. Match the starting point, and then further we can change the color, light one. And the stroke is not needed. Once again, set it to none, right? Double click outside, so that is fixed now. Now again select, go inside, use the pen tool, and then further we can drag and create the kind of the curve. Double click to change the shades of the color to the light one, and we also disable the outline stroke color. Right, so double click outside, and here also we can select, go inside this. We can highlight the dark shades of the color in this particular area. Match the start end point. You can double click now and choose little bit dark shades color, not much, and also disable the outline color. Use the direct selection tool, and then further we can drag to maintain the curvature. Double click outside, So if you guys see here clearly, we have all the detailings that is needed are added. Make one copy and we can then further choose the white shades of color for this. Right, and then further I'm just adding over here. So with the white shade of the color, select this, arrange, send to front side, and then further we can add here. Maybe here the size we can change maybe a little bit more. Right, something like this. So yeah, you guys can definitely follow this process to create the kind of thing. And in the background surface also we have requirement to add anything. So I'm using the simple rectangle tool first to create the base structure. And then further I'm changing the color to the shades of the green, maybe align to the bottom right corner, and the position also that we can send to the back side. Right, and then further if you want to add anything like the shadows, ellipse tool that we can use in this case, and then for the drag and create this, double click you can and choose the dark shades color, and also we can change the opacity here. Right, something like this. These two that we can select, these two, okay, and send to back side. So arrangement is important here. Arrange, send to back. And then further I'm going to change the position here exactly. Make one more copy of the same. Right, something like this, and this one also we can set here. Opacity also that we can change after selection. We can make it lighter. The color also we preferred something else maybe. We can choose the light shades of the color. And then further here we can add more detailings to the graphic. And instead of using this one at the straight, we can also use the curvature tool. I'm changing the position. Okay, and we can just something like this. The amount that we can just change to this side, maybe. And also I'm using the circle. We can double click to choose any color for the background area. Double click we can and choose the shades, maybe different one. So just we can choose the color, light shades of the color. And the position that we can set to the back side. So arrange, send to back. Right, we can set it here. And then further I'm using the curvature tool. With this way we can just change it manually. Okay, so I'm just going to input over here. Make one copy of the same and change the size of this particular shape. Also we can scale from here. Okay. And in this area also, in case if you want to add anything, what you do, just use the paintbrush tool. We can pick the same color from here. And then for the paintbrush tool, the first one that we can select. Okay, we can randomly just paint here. Something like this. And you can just consider the start end point, match it, and switch the color. If the switch color is not working, what you do, just click to select, drag to select, and then further switch. And this one also that we can set in the background of all the layer. So after selection, we can just choose the option arrange send to back. Right, so this is how you guys can definitely work on this and select both the shapes, and then further we can also merge from here. And if you want to add any shades of the color like inside this, so we go inside and then start working in the project. So these all things are completely customizable. Only the way that you are working is important. I'm using one new artboard tool and create one square size of the artboard, maybe this type of the artboard. Okay, and then for the just selection of all these, because this is too much cluttery, I'm going to separate it. We can arrange, okay, selection overall, not this, but overall we can select Control G to group. And then further, I'm going to align it. Okay, if you have something that is outside, you want to hide, like so just, yeah, we can hide the thing that is not needed. Selection, or just do something like this and go to the view option. We can find one option called the trim view. Trim view is something through which you can just hide the thing that is outside the page. So we have the kind of the graphic is ready. So you guys can definitely follow this process to create the step by step character. I'm going to copy this I without I, it's not looks nice. We have the group. So you just need to follow these all steps that is needed here. Right. Step number 1, step number 2, and step number 3. Artboard size also that we can change anytime. It's completely customizable. Like this. Okay. So this is step number 1. This is the step number 2. And this is the step number 3. If you do any changes to the artboard, once again, you can go to the hide options, like the trim view. Okay, so view, and yeah, inside view, we have the trim view option. This is the final outcome, and I hope the process is cleared. Yes, it will take time to start creating the character from the very scratch, and then further we can add the detailings, whatever I have explained. You guys can try and create the projects regarding this, regarding that one. Okay. All right, then. That's all for this session. See you in the next one. Bye, guys.